gives us a chance to win this game. That's part of the whole mind game thing that he does. I know you think they have a chance. I certainly do. How do they go about trying to win this game?
I think the first thing they have to do, Joe, is they've got to be able to protect Eli Manning. As well as they ran the ball last week, this is a defense in San Francisco, very difficult to run the ball. It's going to have to come through the air, with Eli. Then defensively, a lot of discussion about the lack of a pass rush. That's important today, but the most important part will be able to slow down Frank Gore. This is an offense in San Francisco that runs the ball awfully well. We expect a tight game. What does that mean? The team that makes the fewest mistakes is going to be the team that wins, and then oftentimes it comes down to special teams, as the NFC Championship game did, and that could very well be the case here today.
For more before kickoff, down to the field, here's Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, we are talking bad moods and a war of words this week. First, for the Niners, linebacker Patrick Willis telling me we're going to have to work for everything we get. There will be no easy downs. Talking to Osi Umenyiora, he says there'll probably be a lot of pushing and shoving out there today because they are angry about what happened. Back to you.
All right, Pam. Well, obviously there is a lot of talk during the course of the week. These two teams played each other twice last year. 49ers won the first matchup in November, but the Giants won the one that counted. The one that counted to get them to Super Bowl 46. So off we go. Glad you're with us. As Tynes kicks it away. And Kyle Williams, such a big part of that NFC Championship game, takes it out to the 15. Troy Aikman, what's going on here in San Francisco? These 49ers have been shredding their opponents the last couple of weeks, and they're riding high on top in the NFC West. This team, in my estimation, the best team in the NFL.
They're a team that does a lot of things really well, and what they do best is they don't beat themselves. And as we take a look at Alex Smith, as we showed, he leads the NFL in passer rating. And Joe, the last play of the game, or the last throw of the game last week for Alex, he jammed his finger and sprained it pretty good, but watching him throw on Friday in practice did not look to be a factor at all.
49ers start with Gore in the backfield, and a quick throw and a completion to Manningham. And the former Giant gets 9. Up front, it is a very good offensive line protecting Alex Smith. With this group, they've stayed healthy. And then the backs and receivers, they've upgraded at the wide receiver position. And Crabtree, in the words of Alex Smith, is quicker this year, and the numbers say that he's going to have his best year in the NFL.
And a big part of that is because of the fact that he's really been healthy this year for the first time.
Stacked in the backfield to start the play. This is Gore, and he's brought down after a loss of half a yard by Linval Joseph. And now this defense, which is 16th against the run, made a good play there. Up front, Marcus Kuhn gets his second straight start. Bernard is not active today, still out with that bad quad. There are the linebackers and the secondary with Webster and Amukamara on the outside. The safety, Stevie Brown, who had a pick last weekend, and Antrell Roll. 3rd down and 1. Toss to Hunter running left. He's got a first down, and a big carry gets popped on the sideline. No flag for that hit. A run of 15 yards and a first down.
Anytime you're able to get the ball on the edge, you've got to be able to seal then that side of the line of scrimmage. And you see Vernon Davis come across in motion. He's able to get the block on Osi Umenyiora. And then Joe Staley, their left tackle, he's about as athletic of an offensive lineman as there is in all of football, and they love to utilize his ability to get out in space and lead block as he did there on 3rd down.
Both these tackles are good in San Francisco. That's Delaney Walker in motion. Play action from Smith. Pass caught. Vernon Davis, his first of the day. And the question is always, who's going to cover Vernon Davis? A big play tight end. And who will draw that assignment for this Giants defense?
Well, whoever draws that assignment is not going to like it. They want to disrupt his timing off the line of scrimmage. The Giants will give him that all day long. But Vernon Davis, as was the case last year, he was their big play threat. Hard to imagine for a guy his size at 250-pound tight end, but yet he's been their big play guy again this season.
Second down and 4. Smith, good protection, tipped in the air and incomplete, trying to get it to Davis. Jason Pierre-Paul was the one who got his hand on it. We look at the San Francisco 49ers, best offensive line in the NFL. That's obviously always debatable, but it is good. They are a power running team. And Alex Smith, a great year last year, and he has just blossomed under the leadership of Jim Harbaugh.
It's as good an offensive line, Joe, as I've seen in the last 10 years or so. It reminds me a lot of the offensive lines that I played behind in Dallas, only this is a more athletic group, but every bit as physical.
Smith throws, completes, first down. Pass caught by Crabtree, a gain of 7 and a first down for the 49ers.
This defensive front for New York has really been challenged. They've been challenged by everybody within the organization, including head coach Tom Coughlin. And O.C. Umenyiora, he's able to get Staley back on his heels and come underneath that, and got a pretty good lick there on Alex Smith. He still gets the completion, but at least they're starting to get back there on him a little bit, which was not the case last week in that win over Cleveland.
Back-to-back third down conversions for the 49ers. Opening possession of the game. Another throw. Dropped off. Pass caught by Gore out of the backfield. A gain of 4. And so far, I think your scouting report on the sprained middle finger of Alex Smith is right on. Doesn't look like he's having any problem throwing the ball.
Yeah, he didn't really have much of a wrap even on it. It was just more or less a piece of tape that just gave it a little bit of comfort because of the compression of it. And he's not even sure exactly how it happened. But yeah, it didn't seem to be a factor when I watched him throw on Friday at practice, and to visiting with him, he said it really had not been much of an issue throughout the week either.
But that formation in the backfield, handoff to Gore. A lot of room to run, and Gore is down to the 30. 13 yards, knocked down by Roll, and a good opening possession for the 49ers.
You're going to see what Alex Smith is reading right here. He's reading O.C. Umenyiora, and so he's going to put the ball in Frank Gore's belly. And he's going to then determine, okay, am I going to keep the ball or am I going to hand it off? And it all is dependent then on what that defensive end does. Umenyiora gets up the field, he hands it to Gore, and he's got a nice running crease.
9th play of the drive coming up, first down at the 30.
Hey, blue, 4-jet rain! Blue, 4-jet rain! Hey, 80!
Randy Moss at the top of the screen. Smith has time run out. Chased by Boley, and Alex Smith turns it into a positive play of 3 yards.
Well, Prince Amukamara, he's had somewhat of an inconsistent sophomore season, but he has the assignment there on Randy Moss. And even though Randy Moss has not been a big part, I guess, of what the 49ers have been doing offensively, he has been able to at least expand the field to where a guy like Michael Crabtree has benefited some from that. Now, Randy Moss, we see him leaving the field. He's only getting about 30% of the snaps in each game.
Second down and 6. Alex Smith throws behind Crabtree. So another third down coming up for the 49ers. Yeah, that was one of the things the 49ers didn't have last year, obviously, the ability to stretch the field. And so Moss provides that, and it keeps the defense honest. They can't load up to try and stop Frank Gore.
I think everybody's still waiting for that game that we all know Randy Moss, at least we think he's still got it in him, as we see Colin Kaepernick come in. And they do a lot of things with this young man.
He hands it off, a juggle by Gore, cuts upfield, and he won't get it. First guy there was Jason Pierre-Paul, and the defense of the Giants gets a hold on third down to bring up fourth down, and the field goal unit is on.
Well, an interesting decision there by offensive coordinator Greg Roman in a third and medium, and bringing in Colin Kaepernick to run the read option.
A 43-yard try by Akers. And he hooks it. No good. And so even though the 49ers had an impressive drive, 2 third-down conversions, a missed 43-yard try by Akers, no score. Let's go back to that third-down play. I know you well enough to know that it would have driven you crazy as a quarterback to come out and watch somebody else take over. I know it's a new era, different stuff being done in the NFL, but it seemed an odd time for a changeup with the way the 49ers were moving the ball.
There's a lot of reasons to like this 49er team, Joe. I think one of the things that I've been most impressed with is the unselfishness of the offensive players. They use a lot of different guys, and Colin Kaepernick being one of them.
Here's Bradshaw, had a huge day last week against Cleveland, and he picks up 6 over the right side. But I'm right, though. You would have hated coming out on the sideline.
Well, I would have, and you know, I'm not alone, but it's kind of because they didn't have the Wildcat formation, you know, back when I was playing, and Cordell Stewart was about the closest thing to it in Pittsburgh, the way they utilized him. But Colin Kaepernick is a real asset to this team, and Alex Smith embraces it. He looks forward each week to seeing how they're going to utilize it.
Eli off to a great start. Nix up at the top of the screen, back after missing the last 3 games. Manning finds Nix, and Hakeem Nicks, who's been out with foot issues, then a knee, gets 2. Third down coming up. Let's talk about this offense, which is rolling. They're the number 2 offense in the NFL. Number 3 passing attack, and the offensive line, even without David Deal, has started to settle in a bit.
Yeah, and you look at San Francisco defensively, really the same guys that played in that championship game last January. Offensively, especially the 2 tackles. 2 different guys than what we saw in that offensive line back in the championship game.
Third down and 2. This one down the sideline, incomplete. Nix, the intended receiver.
Well, it sure looked to me, Joe, like they had a real shot at Nix down the field, and he's not, it doesn't appear like he's moving, nor would you expect him to. Great release off the line of scrimmage. He's got Culliver beat up the sideline, but that was a question mark as to, one, whether or not he was even going to be able to play today, and if he did, how much does he have in him? He's got the surgery he had that he's recovering from, and then the knee injury. It doesn't look to me like he's full go here.
He came away from that play obviously limping, and now a punt from Weatherford. Again waiting for it. From inside the 10, sometimes a no-no. Out to the 15 after a 51-yard punt. Well, this popped up on Friday, this war of words. Kevin Gilbride talked about Justin Smith. He's a beast inside, does a good job of grabbing a hold of the offensive lineman, never gets called for it, so he gets away with murder. In response, with his own press release, Jim Harbaugh, outrageous, irrational statement. It's an incendiary comment, sole purpose to criticize and influence officiating.
I think it was, quite honestly, a lot of gamesmanship on Kevin Gilbride's part, and I think Harbaugh probably overreacted to it, but recognizing that then was going to become a focus for these officials, he then came out, as you said, with his own release. But I don't think anything Justin Smith does isn't something that's happening in every game all around the league.
Second possession, first time the 49ers had it for 6 minutes and came away with no points after a missed field goal. Gore gets 11. And for more on the war of words, let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Joe, referee John Perry said he just didn't know anything about it. He was traveling at the time. He's used to getting worked during a game, but he says he's never been worked through, press releases and press conferences. He says he will pay no special attention to any player. He said he'll approach this game just like any other. It's any kind of game, but it just happens to be a big game. Back to you. All
right, Pam, thanks. First down for the 49ers. As Smith finds Manningham. Manningham is good for 6.
We hear Pam mention that, hey, this is a big game. As you see Harbaugh, I don't think he's working him about the Justin Smith thing, but You know, I think that when you talk about whether or not this is a big game, obviously it is, because it's two teams, as we have said. They played in the championship game last year. We expect them both to be there in the hunt. And it becomes more important, I think, for the Giants, considering that they've lost 2 games within the division already, and now an important game with a lot on the line within the conference as we move through this year.
On second down, Smith throws it away, in essence, over the head of Manningham, who will go down in Giants lore for that 38-yard reception in Super Bowl 46. Has that great body control on the sideline, and that was the best example of it to set up the winner for the Giants. And now here he is, after spending 4 years in New York, playing for the 49ers.
And he's enjoyed his time here in San Francisco. He made a comment this week, says it's afforded him more opportunity, but through 5 games, he actually had more balls thrown in his direction last year with the Giants than he has with the 49ers.
Pressure off the edge. Smith gets hit, and he finds receiver for a first down. That's Kyle Williams, who had a touchdown last week. Good for 7, and Smith got hit after he let go of the ball.
Well, they bring the safety blitz, and Alex Smith knows that he's got a free rusher, Steve Brown, and he hangs in there and delivers it on the money. And I know watching last week's game, Joe, with Alex Smith, as good as he was last year, I just think that he's playing at a different level right now. I mean, he's cutting the ball loose. He's got great confidence. He knows where to go with the ball. He's holding defenders. And, I mean, he's doing the things that you have to do in this league as a quarterback to play high level. And I've been very impressed with the things he's done this year.
On first down, pass is dropped by the tight end Garrett Selleck, who has 1 catch. And this is rookie season. That came last week. I was surprised because of that, because he took this team, talking about Alex Smith, to the NFC Championship game last year. They let him even get out onto the open market and did that little dance. Whether Jim Harbaugh wants to admit it or not, they evaluated Peyton Manning over the offseason. There was a chance Smith wasn't coming back.
And I don't know that they would have been where they're at right now with Peyton Manning as their quarterback. And don't kid yourself. If Peyton Manning had wanted to be a 49er, he would have been here playing today.
Second down and 10. Delayed handoff. That's Gore. Gore, who hasn't done much in his last 2 starts against the Giants, gets 4, so a third down coming up.
You know, Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, coming into this year, they really wanted to be able to take some of the pounding off of Frank Gore. Last year, he carried the ball the second most times in his career, and there was a period there where it was starting to take a toll. And Kendall Hunter, who has been very impressive, he's getting more carries, and through 5 games, Frank Gore's touches are down.
Third down and 5. Williams. First down, a gain of 8. And Alex Smith is spreading the ball all around here in the opening quarter.
You'll see the route by Kyle Williams on the outside. Great timing by Alex Smith, and puts it on him. And I probably speak for a lot of people. I was very impressed with Kyle Williams, the way he handled things last year after we all know what took place in that playoff game against the Giants. And for him to come out here and make some plays early in this game has got to be settling for him.
On first down, fake the handoff. Smith keeps it over the middle. That's Moss. And Randy Moss is down inches inside the 30. A gain of 20 for number 84.
You can see the amount of respect that Randy Moss gets. As I was saying, the safety is going to be right here. He gets deep, and even the corner who is to his side, they're playing very deep, expecting Randy Moss to try to take the top off this coverage. And because of that, in the play action, it created a lot of space there for Randy Moss to operate.
Alex Smith has now hit 6 different receivers already.
Let it roll, let it roll. Hey, Ricky.
You can hear that let it roll call from Alex Smith as Gore gets it, and he is bottled up. Lost a yard, and let's go to Patrick O'Neill for a game break.
Joe, let's take it to Seattle Seahawks hosting the Patriots. Russell Wilson locking horns with Tom Brady, and the rookie, a beautiful pass and a great catch by Doug Baldwin. 10-7 Seahawks. Joe Troy and Pam Russell's got a tight grip on that starting spot in Seattle.
All right, Patrick, thank you. Alex Smith comes out. Kaepernick is in, along with Will Tukuafu at fullback. Handoff. And a decent gain by Gore of 6. We'll bring up third down so far. The 49ers 4 of 5 converting third downs here in the first quarter.
When visiting with Jim Harbaugh, he said his dad's been in town all week long, and I asked, of course his father was a longtime coach, and I said, does he come in and watch film with you? And Jim said, yeah, he does. As a matter of fact, he's got a couple plays in the game plan today, and he says, you'll know when you see him. And so with that in mind, I've got to believe there's some type of trick plays that his dad got installed, and for some reason I have a reason to believe that it might involve Colin Kaepernick.
Smith hangs in the pocket. Pass may have been tipped, and it's incomplete for Crabtree, and so the drive for the second time stalls, and Akers will get another chance. Thais Kiwanuka.
That's a good job by the Giants defensively, as you said, Joe. The first time the 49ers got the ball, they moved it down the field, and they're unable to convert with the field goal. And they moved the ball again then on this drive, but the Giants stiffened up, and they're going to force Akers to attempt another one.
This one from 42. This from 43, and this one is perfect. And the first points of the day belong to the 49ers in this intense, what has become rivalry between the Giants and the 49ers. Glad you're with us. America's Game of the Week, 3-0. Niners on top.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
49ers and Giants late afternoon in the East, earlier afternoon out here on the West Coast, and then coming up later on Fox. San Francisco Giants and the St. Louis Cardinals, game 1 of the NLCS. Line drive kick, and the rookie David Wilson, and a pretty good kick returner, has great speed, gets to the near sideline, flags are thrown as Wilson's knocked down at the 44. Akers, the kicker, made the tackle. 46-yard return, but some of that is coming back. Giants have only run 3 plays in this game offensively, while San Francisco's run 22. There's 120 yards of offense, 7 first downs, only 3 points.
During the return, holding number 57. 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Jaquan Williams guilty of a hold. He may have a busy day today defensively covering Vernon Davis. There's the hold. That erases a big return by Wilson. Giants have it down 3.
This game on Fox is sponsored by the new 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost. By Pizza Hut, make it great. And by State Farm. Get to a better state with a discount double check.
Weather could not be any better for football and baseball here in San Francisco. As Manning, 4th play from scrimmage, sets up the screen for Bradshaw. And Bradshaw is brought down by the great Patrick Willis, a gain of 4.
You're going to see Justin Smith. We talked about it, the things that Kevin Gilbride accuses him of. As he comes off the line of scrimmage, he's going to grab both those guys. And what that does then, it frees Aldon Smith to have a free run at Eli Manning, and they do that. I mean, he does that. Other defensive linemen do that around the league, and they have different kinds of techniques. Whether or not he grabs or he gets his arm out there, but the whole intent is to try to tie up 2 blockers and therefore create a free rusher like they had there, but the Giants had a screenplay on it.
Manning, Inoski, incomplete. Manning gets popped. He gets up looking for a flag on Ahmad Brooks. No flag.
Now they go play action, and Ahmad Brooks has just got a free run. Nobody picks him up, and the ball is intended then to beat him, but Eli really did not want to throw that when he did.
You're going to get a letter now from Jim Harbaugh. He's going to hunt you down.
I hope it's as eloquently written as the one that he sent to the media.
English department in Michigan should be proud. 3rd down and 6. And as the play clock was winding down, Manning takes a timeout. So why don't we? First timeout by either side. 3rd down and 6 when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
We welcome in a new audience, the group that was watching the Eagles and the Lions. Lions winning that game in overtime. Big win for Jim Schwartz's crew, and that's it. You can see the time of possession, everything dominated by San Francisco, but one missed field goal, one made. It's just 3-0. 3rd down and 6.
And match up in the slot there with Victor Cruz on Carlos Rogers.
And on 3rd down, Manning throws a beauty, and there is Victor Cruz, 1st down.
And Carlos Rogers was expecting a little help on the outside. Victor Cruz, he's got a two-way break on that route. Justin Smith, did you see coming off the edge? But Carlos Rogers is in coverage, and he's expecting help on the outside with Terrell Brown if it's an outside breaking route. And you see the reaction by Carlos, and they're able to fit that ball in before Terrell Brown was able to come off of his man and then make a play.
11 yards on 3rd and 6. First down of the game for the Giants. Bradshaw trying to get to the edge, and it's Bowman in on the stop, a gain of 2. Ahmad Bradshaw coming off a career high in both carries and yardage. 30 carries, 200-yard day against Cleveland. But as you said earlier, this is not an easy team, the 49ers, to run the ball against. 3-0 after 1. Into the second quarter we go. Back after this from your local Fox station. America's Game of the Week in the second quarter begins here at Candlestick. 3-0. 49ers on top. Second down and 8. Bradshaw left side. Nothing. Bowman made the play, and the all-pro linebacker with a tackle and a loss of 1.
You talk about the speed of these linebackers and how they're able to run sideline to sideline, but they'll stick their face in there too, and they're awfully good tacklers. I mean, it's got great team defensive speed, but the other reason why these guys don't give up many yardage in the running game is they're all good tacklers. And you know, it's hard to be as physical as they are in today's game with the limited amounts of practices you can have in pads, but this group is as physical as they come. And it doesn't matter the area you compare them against.
3rd down and 9. Manning throws incomplete. Manning got pressure at the end. Pass intended for Victor Cruz, and it's 4th down. Pressure on Manning, such a big story in that NFC Championship game. Eli was sacked 6 times, knocked around, hit at least 12. People think more than that. That was the official number at the end of that game. Manning threw the ball 58 times in that game, the most he has in any game in his career. And it was enough for a 20-17 overtime win. Here's Ginn. And Ginn is brought down by Justin Tryon after a 15-yard return. 49ers have it and a 3-point lead.
This game on Fox is sponsored by Burger King and the new Chicken Parmesan Sandwich. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Lexus, introducing a stunning work of technology, the entirely new Lexus ES.
First down for the 49ers with the ball at their own 34. Possession number 3. Dominated time of possession. This group is tough to beat here at home.
The team playing with great confidence considering the 2 blowout victories that they've had in consecutive weeks.
Won the last 2 games, combined score of 79-3. Smith steps up, looks for Walker, and he's picked. Intercepted by the Giants. Delaney Walker, the intended target. That ball took forever to come down, and it's Amukamara coming away with the interception his first.
Well, the guy I thought he was going to go to was Mario Manningham. They just turned him loose, gave him a free release off the line of scrimmage, but Amukamara able to come in and make an easy play on the ball intended for Walker.
Alex Smith doesn't throw many. It's a pick, and the Giants take over. Top-rated quarterback in the NFL, Alex Smith, had 1 interception over his last 12 games, including last postseason. Game in week 3 in that loss at Minnesota. And Amukamara gets his first of the year. Bradshaw is dragged down by Aldon Smith. A gain of 1, back to the pick.
Well, Delaney Walker, he was in motion. He's going to come here and run an out and up. And then you've got Amukamara, who's in 3 deep coverage. And he's trying to squeeze Mario Manningham because he got the free release, but he's clearly in a great position to come off of that and make a play on that ball. And you know, as you said, Joe, Alex Smith has been so good protecting the football, not only this year, but last year as well, and seeing things so well this year. I'm really surprised by that decision on his part.
Second down and 9. They're sticking with a run, and Bradshaw over the left side gets a few. Let's go to Patrick O'Neill for a game break.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. New England, Tom Brady hitting Aaron Hernandez, who's missed 3 consecutive games with an ankle injury, but he is back. Pats up on the Seahawks, 14-10. Brady has thrown the touchdown pass in 38 consecutive games. He has 2. It's 14-10.
All right, Patrick, this is an opportunity day for the New York Giants. Cowboys lost today at Baltimore, and the Eagles lost at home to the Lions.
And the Giants going 4 wide receivers takes Patrick Willis, their all-pro linebacker, off the field.
They're down in 6. Manning, sideline, Hickson. A catch and a first down inside San Francisco territory at the 24.
You see the route by Dominic Hickson. He just gets a good release off the line of scrimmage against Chris Culver and Eli Manning with time in the pocket. We talked about the beating that he took last week in that NFC Championship game, and yeah, there's been some pressure on him here in this first half, but overall, offensive line holding up well, and because of the protection, he was able to wait on Hickson and lay it out there, and really a nice play on the ball by him.
39-yard completion to Dominic Hickson. Bradshaw, nothing.
You know, Eli Manning has been awfully impressive now for a number of years, but when I look at what he's been able to do this season, Joe, with the guys that he has had go down, and that just does not happen that often in this league. When you lose some of your key guys, Akeem Nicks goes down, and invariably somebody else steps up. Last week, there was the rookie Ruben Randall who had a nice game, and Eli spent some extra time with him, but each week, a different receiver has led the team in receiving, and really, it's all because of Eli Manning.
Kevin Gilbride sticking with the run as Bradshaw gets 2. There's not a lot of room to move in there for number 44. Barrow Bowman made the stop. Coming up after football, it's NLCS Game 1. Lance Lynn, an 18-game winner for the Cardinals, taking on a great young left-hander, Madison Bumgarner, for the San Francisco Giants. That's coming up right after football in the China Basin area. And now you look at the Yankees. They're in the bottom of the 4th. Yankees and Tigers, no score in game 2 there. Manning rolling right has Hickson. And Hickson makes the catch as he spins his way out of bounds inside the 5.
Nice call there by offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride, and Dominic Hickson works back to the ball, has both his feet in play, but this is something you really don't see a lot from the Giants, and that rolling Eli Manning out, and yet they were able to. And why do you do that? Well, you do it because it helps alleviate some of the pressure, and even though, as I said, the Giants offensive line's done a pretty good job, it sure helps them out even more as this game progresses if you move that pocket a little bit.
49ers just don't give up rushing touchdowns here at home. Manning keeps it. End zone touchdown, Victor Cruz. What a throw and what a good catch from an Eli Manning fastball over the middle.
Well, Victor Cruz is about as good as there is as a slot receiver in this league. He's so quick. You see him set Carlos Rogers up at the top of that route, gives him a little nod as though he may go to the corner. He creates separation off of that move, and then as you said, I mean, you got to have some pretty good hands. And he has had some drops, but not this time. Eli Manning throws him a fastball, and he reels it in.
A 7-3 Giants lead. Hickson set it up. And then Victor Cruz, who had 3 touchdowns catch last week against the Browns, gets the score here in San Francisco. Giants up 4.
This game is sponsored by the Samsung Galaxy S3. The next big thing is already here.
A lot of talk during the week from the 49ers side that Carlos Rogers would mock the dance of Victor Cruz, that salsa dance. Victor does in honor of his late grandmother, Lucy Molina, who passed away last month. Carlos Rogers did it in the November game here last year. Here's Williams on the return. And knocked out of bounds shy of the 25. When Rogers found out it was for his late grandmother, he backed off. So Cruz does his salsa dance. Rogers dejected as the 49ers now trail. Carlos Rogers had a career year last year with 6 interceptions, made it to the Pro Bowl after spending his first 6 years in Washington.
Let it roll, let it roll.
We'll see a lot of Victor Cruz today. Cruz just got him for a 6-yard touchdown catch. Here's Gore. And Gore, Tukuafu blocking, gets 3.
Well, and he's going to see a lot of Victor Cruz because Victor Cruz lines up in the slot when they go to their 3rd down packages, and then Carlos Rogers moves to the slot as a defender. Now, last year in that championship game, Joe, Victor Cruz had over 100 yards receiving at halftime. They had to make a lot of adjustments in the second half and give Carlos Rogers help. We saw it there on the goal line for the touchdown. Carlos Rogers cannot cover Victor Cruz. There's very few guys in this league that can. They have got to give him help if they're going to slow Cruz down.
Colin Kaepernick in at quarterback, was all alone in the backfield. He's thrown
Ball
one
start.
pass.
Number 59, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
We get Goodwin for the false start. So Kaepernick will check out after the 5-yard penalty. And as we're playing late, America's Game of the Week, we look at the early game headliners. Josh Freeman and a Tampa Bay win his day. Sean Green, a big day for the Jets as they pounded Indy. Calvin Johnson, 6 catches, 135 yards, and the Lions come from behind win over Philly.
Well, I know Sean Green had the big day, but that week just got a lot easier for Mark Sanchez.
Yeah, there haven't been a lot of easy weeks for him. 2nd down and 12. Smith finds Gore, and Gore is out to the 29. How about another game break? Here's Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Joe, thanks. You know, the Cardinals, the surprise of the NFL, and Larry Fitzgerald, perhaps a late-game headline. 9-yard touchdown reception. Cardinals at 4-1, leading the Bills 10-9. Joe, Troy, and Pam, back to you.
If we have time in the baseball game, Patrick, we'll get to late-game headliners. There's a look at the NFC West. Arizona, San Francisco tied at the top. 3rd down and 4. Smith nowhere to go, and now a sack for Jason Pierre-Paul. It gives him 2.5 for the year, and it takes a little pressure off this defensive line as they finally ring one up.
Well, you're expecting him to have a breakout game. It's been a few weeks before he'd had a sack, but Alex Smith just didn't really have anywhere to go with the ball. He's got some time, clean pocket really everywhere else. JPP just continued to play and then is able to get to Alex Smith. Nice coverage on the back end there by the New York Giants.
He had 16.5 sacks last year. Jason Pierre-Paul now 2.5. And after not hitting Brandon Weeden, the Browns quarterback last week, getting some pressure from the media during the week about that pass rush. JPP stops the drive. Giants have it, and they lead. just a great rivalry, but some of the NFL's all-time greats have gone head-to-head when the Giants and 49ers have gotten together over the years.
And those games we just showed, I mean, those are all-time classics. That's about the time that I was coming into the league, and two franchises that were just dominating the NFL at that time.
You saw Phil Simms, obviously the great New York Giant, 199 career touchdown passes. Eli's right behind him now with 196. Manning with all day. Sideline, up to get it, and making the catch is Victor Cruz. 16 yards from Eli Manning.
We talked about Justin Smith, and you're going to see the attention that he gets because they want to shore up the inside. And so they put not just one guy on him, they'll come back with Booth and help take control of him. And then on the outside, just outstanding timing by Victor Cruz. You see how they move the pocket just slightly off the play action with Eli Manning. And then when they do that, it times it up for Cruz to get deeper on the route, but he throws it, and when he comes out of his break, the ball's on him.
Good protection again for Manning, and this one's caught by Nix. Hakeem Nicks with a catch, another 16-yard completion.
Well, hey, I'll tell you, you look at the San Francisco 49ers defensively, and where they had improved the most coming into this game, as good as they've been, Joe, has been in pass defense. But when you consider who they have faced the last 3 weeks, Christian Ponder, Mark Sanchez, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, nothing against those guys. They haven't seen since week 1 against Aaron Rodgers a quarterback that can throw the ball like Eli Manning.
Yeah, Eli Manning has been pinpoint with his accuracy so far as Ahmad Bradshaw goes up the middle for 2. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, just to follow up on something you've been talking about, the Giants are sticking with the run because Kevin Gilbride wants to keep the Niners defense honest. Gilbride told me if the Giants are able to just run the ball a little, that'll force the Niners to defend both the pass and the run. So far, that strategy seems to be working. Back to you.
Yep, Pam, it was a problem in the NFC Championship game when the Giants ran it only 26 times compared to 58 throws. And Manning got knocked around.
That offensive line is saying thank you to Kevin Gilbride right now.
On second down, Manning finds his tight end. And Martellus Bennett's got another Giants first down. A 10-yard completion to Bennett, who sprained his knee last week against the Browns.
This is always tough on an offensive line when you've got the inside linebackers who run a little twist there. The back has to decide who to take. Eli knows that he's not protected. You got to get the ball out. And Martellus Bennett, you look at the tight ends in the last several years here in New York, and Kevin Voss and then Jake Ballard. This year they lose a couple guys, and then Martellus Bennett, he steps in there, and he's having the best start to his career. And the tight end coach, Mike Pope, has done an outstanding job for this organization.
Extra offensive lineman David Deal is in there for the Giants as Bradshaw on first down, one of his better runs, a gain of 5. And just to go back to something you touched on earlier, Troy, talk about coaching and what Eli Manning has been able to do with these younger receivers and having meetings with Ruben Randall on the Thursday before the Browns game, and then Randall steps up and they change some of his practice habits. He has turned into, in his veteran years now, a coach and somebody who helps these young receivers, and boy, has it paid off. Second down and 5. Deal still in there, and a toss to Bradshaw. Busy. He cuts back, gets hit by Justin Smith, gets 2.
We were doing a game a couple of weeks ago, Joe, there in New York, and
they're saying the ball came out on that hit by Justin Smith. The officials will get together, and they're discussing it like it could be ruled a fumble.
Doesn't look like the officials are trying to sort through it themselves, while the 49ers are saying that it's their ball. Let's take another look at it and see what happens. Ahmad Bradshaw, as he's going to the ground, knees on the ground, so clearly it's going to stay into the possession
ruling on the
of
field
the Giants.
is down by contact.
Good call on
Third
the
down.
field. That's the right call, and they'll reset the play clock. Jim Harbaugh just throws that challenge flag right in an official.
Ruling on the play.
But so a challenge flag, but that's not even close.
Not even close. And Jim Harbaugh, all these coaches have somebody upstairs who's advising them, but he got some poor advice right there.
So we'll get the call. when we come back. Should stay with New York. We just got the call from John Perry. We weren't out of break yet, but Perry did a rolling stop at the hood to look at that. It wasn't even close. And like you would imagine, ruling on the field stands, and San Francisco has used a challenge, and they are now down to 2 timeouts. That was a silly challenge.
It was a silly challenge, and I'm surprised John Perry, even though he didn't wait for us to come out of break, I'm surprised he waited as long as he did, because he was ready to make the call about 60 seconds ago.
Harbaugh now in the season 1 for 4 with challenges, and in his career 5 out of 14.
Keep an eye on Victor Cruz here in the slot. He's the most targeted guy in the league on 3rd down.
On 3rd down, it's Bradshaw, who was jawing with a 49ers sideline during the break, and he goes backward. Justin Smith there to make the play for San Francisco.
You're going to see the lack of movement that happens, and they try to run the draw in there, and just an excellent job by Justin Smith being able to beat Kevin Booth there inside and make a stop on a big 3rd down.
34-yard drive by Tynes. Missed only once this season. That was when he was short at the end of the game against Philadelphia, the 54-yarder. And he has still missed only once. It's a 10-3 game. Under 3 to play, first half. 10-3 Giants leading, under 3 to play, first half. 49ers come in at 4-1. The Giants coming off a win when they trailed by 14 at home to Cleveland. They ended up running it up on the Browns. They're 3-2. And Eli Manning has been really accurate and really good here in the first half. The most important thing is getting protection from that offensive line against this good front 7 of the 49ers. Manning's completed 6 in a row now, and 9 of 12 on the day, a touchdown. A 6-yarder to Victor Cruz. Here's Kyle Williams. And Williams is out across the 20, knocked down at the 23. We welcome you inside the broadcast booth here at Candlestick, and I think the Giants have to be pleased with surviving a couple of long drives by the 49ers, and now they lead by 7.
Yeah, you said it, Joe. I think the fact that the 49ers came out, really moved the ball well. They have the missed field goal by Akers. They come back. They have to settle for another 3 points, and then the Giants get things going. And yes, Eli Manning is playing exceptional. The offensive line's giving him some time. Gilbride's calling a good game. Not running the ball well. You don't expect that, but because they've been able to mix it in, it sure has made things easier for those guys up front.
Here's a delayed handoff to Gore. Penalty flag flies. Looks like a hold. And an 11-yard run by Gore.
Holding, number 77. Offense, 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It's coming back. Mike Iupati guilty of the hold.
Yeah, Mike Iupati, he's left guard, and they're working Jason Pierre-Paul inside more in this game than they have at other times. He moves around a little bit, but you know, Perry Fuel, the defensive coordinator, knew they needed to get a little creative in some of the things that they were doing to get more pressure, and Jason Pierre-Paul now moving inside a little bit more. And the other thing that I've not yet seen that they talked about was putting Mathias Kiwanuka a little bit more on the field as a defensive lineman.
Where he started until they turned him into a linebacker. Gore hops out of bounds. A gain of 3, and we have not said the name Vernon Davis much so far today. Last year he hurt the Giants. And so obviously, like he gets week after week, a lot of attention from this Giants defense.
And what they try to do with a guy like Vernon Davis is you want to jam him up at the line of scrimmage. Nobody matches up real well against this guy, and so you've got to disrupt his timing before he gets up the field.
2-minute warning in San Francisco. For the Niners, their first 2 drives were 12 plays each. Last couple, you see Kiwanuka along the defensive line. 4 total plays over the last 2 drives, and now this one, a long throw, and the pass caught by Manningham. 12 yards. 3rd down coming up.
Well, they make it a manageable 3rd down because the Giants overloaded that side, but the 49ers did a nice job of picking it up. And then due to the completion, you take a long down, 2nd and long, and then make it a manageable 3rd and 5, where San Francisco has done a nice job overall in this game.
Kiwanuka still on the D-line on 3rd down and 5. Smith. Pass is caught. No, incomplete. Incomplete as the FAR official along the sideline said Manningham let this ball shift or it hit the ground. Let's take another look. And it did. Good call.
It was a good call, and that would have been an unbelievable catch if Manningham had been able to haul that one in. And we've seen him make some big ones on the big stage. But Alex Smith working to his left, it is hard then to drive the ball like he was trying to up the sideline. He's got to lead him enough and so that it's away from Webster. But the way that Manningham's running up the field to try to come back and make a play on that ball was going to be awfully hard to do.
That would have been about a 42, 43-yard
play again.
completion.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Instead, the ball was in essence trapped. It shifted, then bounced into his chest. Great effort by Manningham. And the delay of game now against the 49ers will march it 5 yards back. As Andy Lee, an All-Pro from last year, will punt it away. He's got a big leg. Ruben Randall waiting deep for the Giants. They lead by 7. About to get it back. Good punt. Inside the 20. Randall got around a couple of tacklers but can get out just to the 21. This Tuesday, prepare to laugh your Fox off with an all-new hour of outstanding comedy. First, it's an all-new Raising Hope. Then it's Ben and Kate, the new show USA Today says you really should be watching. All-new comedy starting at 8 Eastern, 7 Central this Tuesday on Fox.
You look at this point in the game, Joe, with a minute and a half to play in a one-possession game at 10-3. This becomes an awfully important defensive possession for San Francisco, and as we know, I mean, Eli Manning certainly outstanding late in games in this situation, but he's good before the half also.
Each side has 2 timeouts left. Manning out to his right. Sideline pass caught. Hickson. Pass caught by Hickson. Culliver on the coverage. A gain of 8.
Talked about how all these different receivers have kind of had their day. So far, it looks like this day is going to belong to Hickson.
There's Victor Cruz highlighted as Manning throws. Pass caught. Penalty flag flies as Hakeem Nicks came down with the ball.
I think that might be offensive, Joe. A lot of contact when that ball was in the air. The Giants are clapping. It's right on their sideline, so let's take a look. Well, Terrell Brown, when the ball was in the air, you see he got his hands then into the chest.
Defense number 25.
Of Hakeem Nicks.
Contact without playing the ball. The penalty will be declined.
Good call.
Result of the play is a catch. 1st and 10, New York.
26-yard completion to Hakeem Nicks, and again, Eli Manning just putting it up and letting Nicks go up and get it.
Yeah, and I like Eli giving him a chance because Hakeem Nicks, as we said, he's not a burner anyway, but he's not at full strength in his ability to run. Give him a chance, let him be physical. That's what he does, and they make the play.
Manning's completed 8 in a row. And this one is iffy. They're going to say it's a catch. Hickson showing great hands down to the 30.
A great catch, similar to the catch that Mario Manningham was trying to make a little bit ago. If the ball moves, I think that's going to be looked at.
We're inside 2 minutes, so they'll look at it from upstairs.
The previous play will be reviewed.
Giants try to get up the line and snap it before we could have stoppage in play. It's in the hands. The right hand comes off a bit. The ball shifts.
Yeah, that was right in front of us, and in real time, Joe, I thought that he made the catch. I mean, it looked like he secured it pretty well, but, you know, he's got his hands, it looked like maybe under. I think with the way that the ball moved, I'm not sure that this is going to hold up.
I don't know. You know, the left hand was under the ball, which obviously the right hand comes off momentarily. The ball moves, but it looked like the left hand of Hickson was under the ball the whole time. And this, if it counts, is a completion down to the 30 with 44 seconds left and still 2 timeouts for the Giants.
Yeah, and that you know, if it is a catch, even if it's not, I mean, that was such a great effort there by Dominic Hickson coming out of his route, and Eli really trying to put it the only place he could to make a play.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. What'd you see, Mike?
Hey, Joe and Troy, I kind of think the left hand still looks like it's under the ball. And remember, they have to prove that the ball hit the ground because they ruled it a catch. So when you watch here, is the left hand under the tip of the ball when it hits? And you got a shot from behind. Take a look here. Is this hand underneath the ball at this point? Boy, pretty tight call. Remember what they did rule on the field, which was a catch.
Well, this will be interesting to see how they view this one. I agree with Mike. I think his hand's underneath it. The question is, or his fingers, you know, is the ball between his fingers hitting the ground? You know, it's not clear enough for them to overturn that. I think there is a good chance that this is going to hold up.
Well, that's what Mike thinks, and Mike is usually batting around, I don't know, 950 during the course of the year. So I'll go with Mike as well. Here comes a call from John Perry after this booth review.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed as a completed catch. The left fingers were underneath the ball. The ball never touched the ground.
Seems like the right call as it takes the ball to the 30, 1st and 10. With 44 seconds left, and Manning, I mean, you just can't do any better. 9 for his last 9, and he's made some tough throws.
And that was a great catch.
Here we go. Hickson's had a tough time staying healthy, but he's showing he's got great hands. Blitz off the edge. Manning hangs in and ends up throwing it away. Manning doesn't flinch much, does he? That blitz was coming right in his face, and he waited for the receiver to make a move.
You know, Joe, we were talking about it a little bit earlier as far as Eli being like a coach. And I remember a couple weeks ago we were there in New York, and I was walking down the hall, and I heard Eli's voice, and I stopped, and you could hear him in there with those wide receivers coaching him up, and he is. I mean, he's like Kevin Gilbride. He's like one of these coaches in there working with these guys, and we have seen it. It pays off on Sunday.
Now 2nd down and 10. Good protection pass low. Might have had Martellus Bennett to throw too low. Now 3rd down and 10 with 24 seconds left.
That brings up a New York 3rd down and 10.
Just about, you see the numbers there for Eli Manning. Eli Manning, 168 yards already. This has been a defense that is averaging just giving up a little over 180 yards for the season. And as I pointed out a little bit earlier, they're facing a little different quarterback today than they've seen in other games.
On 3rd down. Pass is bobbled and caught. Catch is made. Forward progress by Cruz takes him still short of the 1st down, but good for 8, and the Giants will spend one of their 2 remaining timeouts.
That's just great concentration on Victor Cruz's part when the ball gets in the air and being able to make the catch. Now, this is the technique that the 49ers had to go to in the championship game. Carlos Rogers is able to play underneath the throw because he knows he has safety help then over the top. That becomes very difficult to get the ball into his hands, and it proved difficult in that playoff game last year. It takes a perfect throw, and then you've got to be able to secure the catch. Good coverage overall, but that was not single coverage. It was Carlos Rogers getting help, and now the Giants are going to settle for the field goal.
you want to be nitpicking, say they called the timeout a little bit early. 40-yard try by Tynes. It's fourth down, and the kick is no good. And somebody got a hand on it. A lot of pressure by Terrell Brown. And we'll see if he got his hand on the football as the 40-yard try well short. Here comes Brown off the edge, and he got a piece.
He got it, and you saw, with the speed off the edge and how he got small as he came around the edge, much like a sprinter, and was able to lay out a perfect launch point on his part, and that is huge for the 49ers. The Giants, they moved the length of the field. They put themselves in a position to come away with points before the half, and the 49ers deny them.
Kaepernick is in at quarterback in the shotgun with 11 seconds left, 2 timeouts. 49ers down by 7. Over the middle, Manningham! Down to the 45, and Jim Harbaugh will use a timeout. They're going to mark him inside the 35 and give Akers a chance. And the longest NFL completion for Kaepernick as he let this one fly over the middle.
Kaepernick comes into the game, and even with the situation what it is and just a little bit of time left on the clock, and you're really not expecting Kaepernick to try to drive a ball down the field, and yet that's what he was able to do, and he just demonstrated the type of ability he has within the pocket as a passer.
Piece of halftime is coming up with Kurt Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy. Dallas came close. They drop another one, and the Falcons, they're still undefeated. Meanwhile, we'll get a 52-yard try after a 36-yard completion to the former Giant Mario Manningham.
It was just Kaepernick's third pass attempt of the season.
I'm going to go back to what I said. It was fourth down. The Giants called timeout with 15 seconds left. They could have let the clock wind down, have one chance at a field goal try, half's over. They called the timeout, and here's the result. David Akers.
The third final timeout in New York.
As the Giants take a timeout, Akers, who set a career and NFL record with 44 field goals made last season, gets a chance at a field goal well within his range.
Pretty interesting, the chain of events here that have occurred, and for the Giants to have a chance to go in at halftime with all of the momentum and make this a 2-possession game. Great job by San Francisco, but now to have a chance to come away with points of their own. You talk about a big momentum shift between these two teams just in the last 20 seconds.
Akers has made 23 career field goals of 50 or more yards. He has hit from 63 this year, week 1 at Green Bay. It's from 52. Misses his second of the half. He missed from 43, now misses from 52. Had the distance, pushed it wide left. 10-3 Giants at the half. Visa halftime report coming up after this from your local Fox station. Second half of America's Game of the Week, and the Giants will get the ball to start the second half. There's the score, 10-3 New York over the 49ers. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to itunes.com/NFL. First half of a long day here in the Bay Area, here on Fox, with football late afternoon for you, and then baseball in the evening. Game 1 of the NLCS. There are the stats from the first half. And a lot of action right before the end of the first half, but no points scored as Akers, who's about to kick it away, has missed 2. That is atypical of a guy who had a career year in many ways last season. He'll kick it off with David Wilson waiting. We'll get another look at a lot of Eli Manning, and I'm sure a lot of Victor Cruz and those receivers right at the start of the second half.
Well, the 49ers were unable to really get to Eli Manning, did not give up a sack in that first half, and you got to believe that Vic Fangio is going to run some of the games and twists that were so effective in that championship game last year.
Here's Wilson from outside the end zone. A little stutter step, and he shows his speed. Wilson still going. Forced out of bounds inside the 35. And it was Parrish Cox saving a touchdown.
It's a middle return. You see the wall of blockers that are in front of him, and then once you get into the open space, he avoids the kicker, and he's one-on-one, and you see the moves and the speed and the explosiveness that he possesses, and that's what they like about this guy when he was coming out of college, and they know that every time the ball is in his hands, he has a chance to take it the distance, and a great return to start this second half.
The problem for him on the season, that was a 66-yard return by Wilson as Bradshaw over the left side takes it down just outside the 25. A gain of 6 will go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Joe, I attempted a couple of questions with Jim Harbaugh at the half, and I got Harbaugh'd. He gave me nothing pretty much about the questions I asked him, and that is just what his points of emphasis were going to be at the half, and also slowing down that Giants passing game. As for Tom Coughlin, he was a little more talkative, worried about how they're going to come out on their first 15, once more from the running game. And he also said this is going to come down to the fourth quarter. Back to you.
Here's Cruz. Thanks, Pam. Cruz makes a move and is out of bounds with another Giants first down at the 11. More Carlos Rogers. And more of the connection between Eli Manning and Victor Cruz. That one good for 9.
Yeah, and that's really the way that they can get Victor Cruz on Carlos Rogers. Rogers is not going to go with Victor Cruz in early downs, but if Cruz goes to his offensive right side, then he's going to be matched up opposite of Carlos Rogers as he was on that play. This time, Dominic Hickson is the guy working off of Carlos Rogers.
Aldon Smith, beginning of the play, across from Victor Cruz. Breaking to the outside and trying to make a move and run before securing the catch is Hakeem Nicks.
You know, and as I said, as we started this second half, Eli Manning has had time to throw the ball, and that really was the story coming in. Because in the championship game, Joe, you talk about how much he was hit, but really it came in about the last quarter and a half of the game is when he started really taking a pounding. But this offensive line, with different guys at the tackle position, remember, David Dill is down, and they've had to step in then with Sean Locklear at right tackle and then Will Beatty at left tackle. But those guys across the board have done an outstanding job.
Deal is in the lineup now. The top of the formation, an extra tackle. Here's Bradshaw. And Bradshaw, one of the toughest running backs in the league, takes it down to the 5 with a first and goal. An 11-yard run for Ahmad Bradshaw.
And those types of runs are runs you really just don't see very often against this 49ers defense. We didn't see any of them in the first half. Pretty tough sledding. But true to what he said, Kevin Gilbride continues to mix it in. And because of that, it's kept this 49ers defense at least off balance and not able to just tee off with the pass rush.
They hand off to Bradshaw. Bradshaw's hit as he got back to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Deshaun Goldson in there to make the stop. We referenced it earlier. The 49ers defensively have allowed no rushing touchdowns over their last 14 home games. Last one was Cadillac Williams in November of 2010.
And they don't give up a lot of points, but when teams are able to get down in this position of the field, they have had success coming away with touchdowns.
They hand off to Bradshaw. And Bradshaw is down to the 1, maybe the half-yard line, where it's 3rd and goal. So now what do you want to do from a half-yard away? Try and pound it in or throw it?
Well, it's, they're starting to get a little something going, and we've said nobody's been able to score a touchdown in a while at home against the 49ers on the ground, but I would expect play action, but the way that the Giants have run the ball the last couple times, I like what they're doing there.
It's Bradshaw, a leap, and he's in. Touchdown. A rushing touchdown against San Francisco, and it's Ahmad Bradshaw who's stuck with it. And so has Kevin Gilbride. That's the third rushing touchdown of the season for Bradshaw. We'll take another look.
Well, Navarro Bowman, he comes in and makes contact. It looks like he's short of the goal line initially. And then it was that last surge that got him across the line. That's a great job by the Giants coming down off of the return by David Wilson and capitalizing and punching it in for a touchdown.
Ahmad Bradshaw has battled through so much with his feet, foot surgeries, had a neck injury, missed week 3, is good from a half-yard away. It was set up on the 66-yard kick return by David Wilson. Good start to this second half. Bradshaw pounds it in, and the Giants lead by 14.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the motion picture thriller Alex Cross, in theaters Friday. By Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. And by Windows 8.
Tough to find a prettier city than San Francisco, California. Shot of Alcatraz as we take you back inside Candlestick. There's the scoring drive. And now it's a 14-point game. Kyle Williams with a full head of steam. Got to the 20, went lateral. Trying on the stop and a 14-yard return. Well, coming out here on the road against the San Francisco 49ers team, regarded by many, and I said it earlier, is the best in the NFL. The Giants are playing a fantastic football game so far.
Well, they're playing a great game against really an outstanding football team that doesn't have a whole lot of weaknesses in the 49ers. And, this possession right here becomes big because, as we've seen from the Giants offensively, they're pretty confident in their ability to move the football, and they've done that, and they've come away with points. They got the touchdown on the last possession. 14 points right here. This is a big drive right here for the 49ers this early in the third quarter.
The only sack of the day belongs to the Giants and Jason Pierre-Paul. Kendall Hunter gets it running left out to the 21. Gain of 2. Let's go to Patrick O'Neill for a game break.
Joe, thanks a lot. 4-1 Vikings at the Redskins. Robert Griffin III had that concussion last week. Fearless. Good way to describe the Heisman winner. 7-yard touchdown run. The home crowd appreciated it, chanting RG3, Washington up on Minnesota 24-9. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
All right, look at the NFC East. Like we said earlier, this is an opportunity day for the Giants. Philadelphia and Dallas both losing earlier. Washington winning. Kaepernick in at quarterback. They get it to Manningham, his third carry of the season. And Mario Manningham ends up a yard shy of a first down. Antrell Roll on the tackle.
It was the pressure, though. I'm surprised they got as much out of that as they did, because Justin Tuck was in position and Manningham had to go around him. And usually then you've got enough guys in pursuit, you're not able to get the kind of gain that they got. Frank Gore is able to come in and help. But Manningham sure had to take a much wider path than he would have liked.
Ends up a 7-yard run. He's now carried it 3 times for 64 yards, and timeout Giants.
Timeout.
So third down and a yard when we come back. First possession for the Niners, second half, down 14. 49ers are the league's top running team. They're averaging over 6 yards per carry coming in. Big day last week against Buffalo. Part of a 621-yard day in total offense. Now 3rd and 1. And that's going to make it 3rd and 6. There's Leonard Davis, an extra offensive lineman.
Number 68, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Davis left too soon. So Davis with the false start, and now the former Pro Bowler with Arizona, and then Dallas is back to the sideline. 3rd and 6. Quick setup, delay on the throw, and it's picked off by Roll. Antrel Roll takes it down inside the 15. And on 3rd down and 6, Antrel Roll comes away with a second pick of the day of Alex Smith.
You can credit Corey Webster on that because the Giants win man coverage, and Corey Webster jumps to the inside, contests the throw, and he's able to get a hand on it, and then the ball goes up in the air, and Antrel Roll then reacts. You see him jump it. Actually, I'm not even sure that it got touched before. I don't know if it got touched before Roll got there or not, but Corey Webster is the one who disrupted Mario Manningham getting off the line of scrimmage that allowed Antrel Roll then to make the interception.
He's playing with a damaged left knee, Roll is, and that's the first time Alex Smith has had 2 picks in a game in over 2 years. Mukamura the first, and now Antrel Roll. 1st down at the 12. Manning. Incomplete. Cruz the intended target.
You think now just how big the false start was by Leonard Davis. In all likelihood, 3rd and 1. You know, they're going to run the ball. Who knows whether or not they get the 1st down, but if not, they at least punt the ball. And just good defensive effort there by Corey Webster. I don't know that it got tipped at all, Joe, but Antrel Roll, he reacts well to it. He reads Alex Smith, and so he was in a great position if it was an errant throw to make the play.
2nd down and 10. Pass is nearly picked the other way. Carlos Rogers, who has been picked on today, and got one stepping in front of Victor Cruz last year in November, had one dropped.
Well, that was the thing that really plagued Carlos Rogers in Washington, and you know, he didn't bring it with him here to San Francisco last year when he had the 6 interceptions, and you know, these are the types of balls that he would have a chance to make and just never was quite able to, and that would have sure helped this 49ers defense because they then would not have given up any points on this drive.
He had a lot of room in front of him too. 3rd down and 10. Manning passes behind Hickson. And the 49er defense, which comes in ranked 2nd in the NFL, gets a 3 and out after the interception. The out part means that Tynes will come in and try and make it a 17-point game.
Yeah, I mean, great job defensively. I guess I should say good job. It would have been a great job if Carlos Rogers is able to make the interception, but overall a good job. But if they make this, I mean, nevertheless, it becomes a 3-possession game.
30-yard try for Tynes, who had his last attempt blocked. This one is not, and it splits the uprights. 17-point Giants lead. 2 picks on the day for Smith. About to go back to work. 49ers have to kick it into gear to get something going, taking it on the chin here at home so far. After a good start offensively, San Francisco with a couple of 12-play drives. They have just 1 first down over their last 5 possessions, and they trail by 17. 9:51 left to go, 3rd quarter. Kyle Williams on the return, survives a hit from Sash and goes out of bounds at the 20. Michael Coe on the stop, an 18-yard return. Let's look at batting practice down the way at AT&T Park. NLCS Game 1 coming up almost immediately after football. And there is the likely National League most valuable player, Buster Posey, who's only 25 years old. Won it all a couple of years ago. A rookie catcher, Troy, guiding a great pitching staff in 2010 when they beat the Texas Rangers. Coming back from that terrible leg injury. Big grand slam in Game 5 of the division series in Cincinnati. Smith fakes the handoff and finds his tight end Garrett Selleck. Selleck is out to the 27, a gain of 6.
You look at this game right here, Joe, and Alex Smith has not yet thrown the ball for even 100 yards. And I know that this is an offense, as we've talked about, it's built about running the ball. Last week he had a rare 300-yard passing game. But in a game like this, it's going to be on him. I mean, he's going to have to be able to get the ball down the field, and that's what they brought in these guys for. That's why Randy Moss is here. That's why Mario Manningham is here. And they have got to be able to get the ball down the field and create some big plays if they're going to get back in this game.
His longest of the day is a 20-yarder to Randy Moss. Only one catch so far for Vernon Davis. Smith stays up for a moment, and now he's sacked for the second time. Jaquan Williams was back there for the Giants. He wasn't alone. Linval Joseph comes away celebrating, and let's look downfield at Vernon Davis.
We're going to see Linval Joseph. He splits between Alex Boone and right tackle Anthony Davis, and he's then able to get into the face of Alex Smith. And this pass rush for the New York Giants was challenged coming in, but they've been a little disruptive in this game, certainly on the last play.
Second sack of the day for the Giants. He did not have one last week. Play clock is at 0.
Play again. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Turning into a nightmare offensively for the 49ers. To give up the sack and then a delay of game. For the Niners, 5 penalties now, 2 turnovers. And Harbaugh's club turned it over only 10 times all of last year. Now turned it over 7 times so far this season. Smith. Picked again. Antrel Roll again. And Roll is inside the 15. Gets a block. Gets popped by Kyle Williams. And that's a 3-interception day for Alex Smith. And a 2-interception day so far for Antrel Roll.
Well, Alex Smith is trying to hold the backside safety, so he's looking left, and when he comes back to throw it to his front side, he doesn't locate Antrel Roll, who from the snap is coming up from the safety position, and he jumps the route. So Alex Smith likes what he has in front of him over there, knowing the coverage, but he doesn't locate the one guy who can then undercut that throw, and that's Antrel Roll. And the reason was he was checking off the backside safety and never saw him.
So now 1st and goal from the 5. It's Bradshaw. Willis makes the stop. No gain.
Well, as we said coming into this game, Joe, that in a game like this and a couple of heavyweights, Jimmy Johnson used to always say to us in a game like this, hey, it's not who makes the most big plays, it's who makes the fewest bad plays. And there's a lot to be said for that. And sometimes we get so wrapped up in big plays down the field and creating all this offense that just managing the ball and not turning it over is a hard way then to get beat. And that's been the formula for San Francisco, certainly for Alex Smith, but today they've had the turnovers.
Pass to the end zone, incomplete. Hickson, who's been busy today, guarded by Terrell Brown. It's 3rd and goal. Another opportunity for this 49er defense to limit the damage after the interception. Good coverage by Terrell Brown. Ball just outside the 5, 3rd down. Blitz off the edge. Manning brought down from behind, and it was the blitzer, Ahmad Brooks.
You can kind of see that one coming with Ahmad Brooks coming down the backside there of Eli Manning when he was scrambling out to his left. Eli was a little indecisive, trying to find somebody down the field. Do I take off running or am I going to turn it loose? And boy, you hesitate. These guys smell blood, and they went after him and were able to get a pretty good hit on him.
A little bit of yardage gained on the play. Not a sack. And after the Alex Smith pick, it's a 22-yard try by Tynes. Who is 3 for 4 on the day. Antrel Roll's got 2. The last 2. Stepping in front for the pick. The defensive stop. It's a 20-point game in San Francisco. Third career multi-interception game for Antrel Roll. Now 17 career interceptions. 2 in the second half, 3 thrown today by Alex Smith. His quarterback rating is under 30 for this game.
You got to remember, Antrel Roll was brought into this league by the Cardinals as a first-round pick, a cover corner. So even though he's playing safety, most safeties don't have great ball skills, but because of his background, this guy does.
Little pop-up kick. It'll take a bounce. One way to try and avoid a big return. Getting out to the 15 is Kyle Williams. Tyler Sash is there to get on top for the tackle. Saturday, Aaron Andrews, Eddie George, and Joey Harrington get you ready for kickoff for the Fox College Saturday pregame show, followed by exciting doubleheader action. 17th ranked Stanford takes on Cal. Pac-12 matchup between Bay Area rivals. Then it's a Big 12 showdown. 6th ranked K-State takes on 5th ranked West Virginia. Good games. Coverage of Fox College football begins Saturday, 2:30 Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Pacific. That's Randy Moss. Troy circles as Smith keeps it and goes nowhere.
You're going to lose a quarterback if they keep trying that, because he just got crunched.
Chase Blackburn there for the stop for the Giants.
And you can hear the fans get a little bit restless with a 20-point game and just over 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter, and running the read option with Alex Smith. And I think this is the point in the game where you've got to start making some throws, and you saw Randy Moss in the game, and they're working a safety his way, but he is such a big target that they've got to start trying to do some things to get the ball down the field.
He's only got 10 catches on the season. 1 in this game. Smith protected well. Looking for Moss. And got it to the 30.
Well, we've seen Antrel Roll up around the line of scrimmage and jumping routes. And this time, right here, he's the guy playing deep middle. And he's the one who has to take away the deep post throw to Randy Moss. But he starts peeking in. He's cheating. He flattens out. Randy Moss goes right over the top of him. And as good as Antrel Roll has played today, that's a big mistake, because you've got to know the situation in the game and understand with Randy Moss to your outside, he's the last guy that I'm going to let get beyond me.
Kaepernick is in there at quarterback. He fakes a handoff and takes a sack. Jason Pierre-Paul has his second of the day. And after the 55-yard completion, Smith comes out, Kaepernick in, and a sack, a loss of 11.
This play didn't make sense right from the beginning. You see Kaepernick, he's faking to an invisible back. I mean, Frank Gore, he's not even running the same play that Kaepernick thought he was running in the huddle. And you just can't take a sack right here. So you mix in some of the things that Kaepernick has done, but he showed his youth there in a situation after a big play. You've got to get outside the pocket and get the ball out of your hands.
On second down, nearly picked as that throw was too high for Delaney Walker. Michael Boley was there defending for the Giants, and this one almost came away as an interception. Now it's 3rd and 21.
Well, some people are probably wondering, where Vernon Davis has been in this game. And, he stumbles coming off the line, but he's drawing a lot of attention, as you can see, and they've been banging on him. And you got to remember, in the 2 games last year, he only had 3 receptions in each of those games. Just so happened in the championship game, it was for over 100 yards.
Smith underneath to Hunter. Kendall Hunter is dragged down by Boley. Harbaugh screaming for a horse collar tackle, won't get it. The ball's marked at the 34. It's 4th down and long. And the 49ers are going to go for it.
You wonder if they would. Of course, those 2 missed field goals are huge, and it would be a 2-possession game if they were able to have made those. But how much of the decision to go for it here has to do with, it still remains a 3-possession game, even if they were able to come away with a field goal on this drive.
So they go for it on 4th and 15. Smith. Davis. Way short of first down yardage. And the Giants defensively hold and get it on downs.
They flood one side of the field, and that was the only area that Alex Smith could go to, and that play had no chance.
Hosley on the stop. Giants take over up 20. Players around here, the offensive players call Greg Roman the mad scientist. Under his tutelage and Jim Harbaugh's tutelage, Alex Smith has turned his career around as Bradshaw picks up a first down with a 15-yard run, knocked down by Goldson. But that wildcat that the 49ers brought in after the 55-yard completion to Randy Moss, I know Kaepernick's run for touchdowns each of the last 2 games. It just seemed forced right there, and it bit him.
Yeah, I think that Greg Roman wishes that he had that one back and he outsmarted himself. I mean, this offense last week went for over 600 yards of offense, and a little different. I think Greg Roman's an excellent offensive coordinator, but some bad mistakes in this game.
Here's Bradshaw back to the line of scrimmage. Willis on the stop. The Giants, they punted their first 2 drives. And since then, they've gone touchdown, field goal, had a missed field goal on a partial block, touchdown, and then back-to-back field goals as one of the best tackles in the game, Joe Staley, a Pro Bowler from a year ago, walks off.
I think if you look at the Giants and where they're at as far as yardage goes, in this game, it's a little misleading because of the short field that they've had due to the turnover.
2nd down and 10. Manning over the middle. There's Rodgers, and Victor Cruz broke it up.
That's a great job by Victor Cruz because Rodgers was in a position to make a play, and if he goes and attacks the ball, watch the play that Carlos Rodgers could have made on that if he goes and attacks it, but instead Victor Cruz, he's able to come underneath him, and he was more aggressive to the ball than Carlos was, and he is able to avoid the interception.
Manning has thrown 5 this season. To go along with his 11 touchdown passes, 1 in this game to Victor Cruz. Play clock almost expired. It's 3rd down. Pass too high. And Carlos Rodgers flips Victor Cruz at the end of the play, who grabs at his right knee.
Well, the Giants, we've seen them play without Akeem Nicks. We've seen Ramses Barden, Ruben Randall, Dominic Hickson. We've seen all these guys step in and play well. If there's something wrong with Victor Cruz, that's a huge part of their offense. I mean, this guy does so much and opens up so much for those other guys. I think he's the one guy other than Eli Manning that they just can't do without.
Weatherford to punt. 1 first down on that possession for the Giants. King Jr. lets it go over his head into the end zone and down by 20. The 49ers will start at the 20. Let's go to Kurt for a game break.
Well, like the 4-1 Niners, the 4-1 Vikings struggling today. At Washington, Christian Ponder gets picked off by Madieu Williams, and the former Viking takes it all the way back for a pick 6. 24 yards on the score. 4th time this year this Redskins defense has scored, and they lead it comfortably 31-12 in the 4th quarter, trying to end an 8-game home losing streak. Joe Troy and Pan.
All right, Kurt, and it's the Redskins at the Giants next Sunday here on Fox. Here's the hit on Cruz. A Right leg extended. He grabbed his right knee and then able to hobble off the field. Down by 20 from the 20. Smith. Left alone, Crabtree. He's been quiet today. Antrell Roll out there defending. Gain of 11. Let's go down to Pam.
Well, Joe, we know the Niners offensive line to be a really healthy group, but they have lost left tackle Joe Staley. He has a concussion, and of course he's out. Back to you.
All right, so Staley is out. Kaepernick comes back into the game at quarterback. And they move Boone out to tackle, bring Kilgore in at guard. Kaepernick, Crabtree. And he backs out of bounds with a gain of 7. Amukamara on the stop for the Giants. Call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile now and get coverage of every NFL game.
They call this the warp offense with Kaepernick in.
They hand it off for a first down to Hunter. Kendall Hunter after the 46 with under 40 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Pretty interesting right here. I mean, they're going to the no huddle clearly because they've got to get some plays run, and they're doing it with Colin Kaepernick instead of their starter Alex Smith. Interesting decision here by Jim Harbaugh.
Little confusion defensively for the Giants. Moss left alone, but the throw too high.
We've seen Colin Kaepernick in practice and get some work, but how much of this type of work does he get? I mean, clearly he doesn't get as much work on it as Alex Smith does, and we've seen the mistakes that Alex has made. He's missed some guys that I sense that essentially they're going with Kaepernick and see what he can do for him.
Kaepernick keeps it, and he's brought down on the play. Trying to run it, there's Antrell Roll making the tackle, a loss of 2. And so here you go, Alex Smith. Now you've got third down and, 12 or so? Go get them.
Yeah, I think they're worried about just going to a passing game because of what the Giants are capable of doing within their pass rush. Kaepernick gives them some big playability and being able to run the ball, but I don't know. I don't agree with it.
Fourth quarter coming up. 20-point game. Back after this from your local Fox station. Third and long for the 49ers as we start the fourth quarter. San Francisco down by 20. You were saying it during the break. It seems like with the score being what it is and the way this game has unfolded, 2 downs to try to get the yardage for the first down. It's a long 10. Vernon Davis starts off the line of scrimmage. They fake the handoff. Smith can't find anywhere to go with it. So he'll run, forced out of bounds by Jaquan Williams. Umanura was out there as well. Now it's fourth down, and they do bring the punt team onto the field for San Francisco.
Yeah, the coverage wasn't bad, but when Crabtree started working back out of that route and Alex Smith, Crabtree's doing what he can to give Alex Smith a place to go with the ball. I thought he did a good job in doing that, and that Alex would give him a chance. The only chance that he had was to try to fit it in there. And this isn't the time to be conservative with the ball.
A loss of 1 on the play, so it's a sack. Giants much better today getting after the quarterback, and a fair catch hauled in by the rookie Ruben Randall. 39-yard punt. Giants have it, leading by 20 on the road. Cruz back to the field. Good day for New York so far.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Nissan, innovation that excites. By Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving.
Great shot. As we talk about Tom Coughlin and where he ranks on the all-time list for wins by a head coach in Giants history, he is now tied for the second most with Bill Parcells with his 77. Steve Owen, number 1 coach from 1920 to 1953. Owen had 153. You see what Coughlin's done against the 49ers. He's been in charge since 2004, and he's won it all twice. Beat the Patriots both times. Bradshaw carries it, gets a couple.
Pretty good stuff for a guy who's been in the hot seat a few times, huh?
He is Yeah, I mean, and how many times have you and I gone into a game and the focus has been on Coughlin and he's losing the team, and at the beginning he was too strict, and the Coughlin time and all that stuff. He has evolved over the years, and the record speaks for itself.
You know, I think he's evolved, yeah, but I think at his core, he's what he's always been, and he's a great football coach, and now finally, you know, people around New York are starting to realize that.
Second down and 8. How about Bradshaw? How about his day? High stepping his way out across the 40. He is a determined running back here today, and at times he's put the Giants on his back.
On the 49ers, I mean, they're one of the best in the league at stopping the run, and they know what's coming. You know, in this situation, you're going to get the run from the Giants. They're trying to take this clock down, and then on third down, they're going to put the ball into Eli Manning's hands. And so to be able to run the ball here in the fourth quarter, Kevin Booth coming off, making a key block straight up the gut, right into the teeth of this defense, and get that kind of yardage is impressive. This offensive line's done a great job here today, Joe, both in the run game as well as in protection.
86 yards on the day for Bradshaw. Now a safe throw, and it's Cruz. They're going to keep the clock winding as they stop his forward progress after a gain of 8. Carlos Rogers out there, and Cruz has had the better of that matchup all day.
Yeah, he really has, and as I said, I mean, Carlos Rogers is a good player. This isn't about Carlos Rogers. It's really more about Victor Cruz, because there's just not a lot of guys in this league. You know, it's hard to believe that the guy was undrafted, you know, that he came in as a free agent, but he has exceptional skills, and he's a powerful guy, so even once he gets it, he's not little. He's very hard to tackle once he has it in his hand.
Expect the run on 2nd and 2. It's Bradshaw. He bumped into Snee. We'll give Snee credit for the tackle, a loss of 2. Justin Smith was there for San Francisco. We look ahead to next week, Foxtoberfest, we're calling it. Continues Fox NFL Sunday. The Redskins are in New York to take on these Giants. The Cowboys battle the Panthers, Packers, Rams, Cardinals, Vikings, Saints, Bucks. Coverage begins next week with a Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. 3rd down and 4.
You kind of feel like if the 49ers are going to have any chance at all, they've got to make a key stop here on 3rd down.
Manning, good protection. Down the middle. Cruz, incomplete. Manning had to get rid of it a little earlier than he wanted to, and it's 4th down.
Kevin Gilbride, he kind of thought that, well, maybe they're going to think we're just going to go to the sticks and try to pick up this 1st down. Instead, you know, they wanted to take a shot down the field, and Victor Cruz, he got off the line. You see the double move that he was making, and Eli had to get it out a little sooner than he wanted. I think he was hoping that Cruz would get his head around a little quicker, try to locate that ball.
Weatherford to punt. Ted Ginn Jr. waiting for it for the 49ers. Weatherford hits it high. Fair catch at the 11. San Francisco has it, over 11 to play. The 49ers trail by 20 here at home. Drive will start at the 11 for the 49ers. 49ers have a Thursday game coming up here against Seattle. The Giants, as we mentioned, not only have Washington at home next week, but it starts a stretch of some tough games for New York, trying to get a road win here in San Francisco. On 1st down, Smith finds Manningham. Little spin move, and Mario Manningham, doing all he can, takes it out to the 19.
You know, Joe, coming into this game, I just really thought the 49ers would be able to do more than they've been able to do offensively, because the Giants had given up a lot of big plays, you know, through 5 games, and yet they've not done that in this one. You know, I mean, the 49ers, they've gotten better, even though it's not dramatically better in their passing game with the big plays, but they've not been able to take advantage of some of the things that have given the Giants problems through the first part of this season.
Their problems with the clock. The 49ers obviously are in hurry-up mode.
Please reset the game clock to 11:01. One of the play clocks has become inoperative, so both play clocks will be shut down until the problem can be fixed. Please shut down the furthest play clock.
So there you go. They're going to have to turn off the play clock down to our right, the one that actually Alex Smith is looking at right now.
You know, it doesn't much matter for the 49ers because they're in hurry-up mode. They're going to be getting the ball snapped long before the play clock runs down. But if they don't get that fixed, it's going to really benefit the New York Giants because they err in favor of the offensive team in not throwing the flag for delay of game. They'll be checking it on their clock, but it'll help the Giants if they get the ball.
Four-man rush. Smith finds Williams. He's got a first down out to the 30. Mukamara on the stop. Clock continues to wind. 10.5 to go. So we've seen a lot of Colin Kaepernick today. For the most part, that package, except for one completion to Manningham before the end of the first half, has not worked. Pass caught. Gore out of bounds. Stevie Brown on the stop. A gain of 4. Vernon Davis has been shut down for the most part here this afternoon.
Well, there was a focus coming into this game as to how they were going to play him and try to keep him from getting the big plays down the field as he has this year and as he had last year in that playoff game. And so they've given him some different looks. They've tried to bump him coming off the line. They're playing him inside out, but he really has not, he's not been a factor in this game.
Clock runs until you get under 5 minutes, even though that last play ended up out of bounds. As Smith throws it away. That will stop the clock with 9:51 to go. Vernon Davis, the closest one to it. Last year, not only 3 touchdowns against the Giants, but all were for over 25 yards. Part of the 6 catches, 152 yards today. Not a factor.
Well, he's only had 2 catches in this game today, but last year in the first game in the regular season, he only had 3 catches for 40 yards. I mean, that graphic's a little misleading because that damage really came in the championship game, you know, on a couple big plays down the field. But in that regular season game, he wasn't a real big factor in that one either.
Davis had that big postseason last year against the Saints and the Giants. Here is Smith going down, and it's Kiwanuka that gets him. All the way back at the 20-yard line to bring up 4th down, and this defensive front for the Giants came in with a mission.
Yeah, they did, and Kiwanuka, he's able to come around with the stunt and then make a play. They get the inside pressure, Alex Smith tries to get flushed, and then Kiwanuka's there. And it's been a while since we've been talking about Mathias Kiwanuka making plays in a game, and so he is able to there, and I've always felt that his most natural position is along that defensive line. I think he's really out of place at the linebacker spot.
49ers miss the presence of Staley out at left tackle. It's forced a shuffle up front. Giants taking advantage. Penalty flag flies, and it's Ruben Randall on the return. Randall out across the 30, but it looks like, well, we'll wait, but this could cost the Giants some yardage. We'll get the call from John Perry, who's been busy.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 26 of the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Say that qualifies. Talk about busy. Antrell Roll has been in the middle of so much defensively for the Giants, having a big day here in the Bay Area. Offensively, defensively, even special teams, leading by 20.
This game is sponsored by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
Giants have it, just over 9 to play. Up by 20. We're going to see a lot of Bradshaw. And Ahmad Bradshaw is working on a 100-yard day. It had been almost a full year since his last 100-yard effort, going into last week when he ended up with 200 yards. This one good for 14. And Bradshaw's up to 98 yards on the afternoon.
Well, that's got to feel pretty good. I mean, last week had to feel pretty good too, rushing for 200 yards in that game. But to come back and if he's able to get 100 yards in this one against this defense, that's pretty special.
Meanwhile, the 49ers just don't allow 100-yard rushers. Bradshaw's there. And Ahmad Bradshaw getting chunks of yardage just about every time he carries it now. Let's go for a game break. Here's Patrick O'Neill.
All right, Joe, Bills, Cardinals, the year of the leg. Look at this, 61-yard attempt. Jay Feely for the Cardinals. He hits it to tie the game. Still a minute left for the Bills, 16 apiece. Joe, Troy, and Pam.
There you see it. Thank you, Patrick. 49ers allow their first 100-yard rusher in their last 23 games. David Wilson now in at tailback behind Hynoski. And Wilson gets it. The charge for him is to stay in bounds and hang on to the ball. He does not stay in bounds, but we're still outside 5 minutes. An 11-yard carry by Wilson, who had the misfortune of fumbling it on the second carry of the regular season at home against Dallas week 1.
Yeah, and Tom Coughlin, you get in the doghouse pretty quick with Tom Coughlin, and that did not set real well with him. He didn't get another carry the rest of that game, and I asked him, how's he doing? He said, well, he's starting to regain my confidence, and he's a young player, and he's coming along, and he's going to help this team. But, hey, right now, this 49ers team, the last couple of weeks, they're used to being on the giving end of a game like this.
Wilson gets it over the right side. He shows that burst. And one thing I should add, with this being the first 100-yard day against the 49er defense on the ground, that's at home. 23 straight games. Bradshaw getting looked at over on the sideline. He has earned his pay here this afternoon. Saw the numbers overall. And 108 of those rushing yards belong to Ahmad.
Ahmad Bradshaw is about as tough as they come. All the foot surgeries that he's had, and to still even be playing football is pretty amazing.
Look at the burst by Wilson. And a lot of big holes being opened up by the Giants' offensive line. That started the year with Dave Deal at right tackle. He started the first two. Locklear started those games at left tackle. Now it's Beatty at left tackle, Locklear at right tackle. And this group has really settled in.
Well, they have. And hey, give credit to Pat Flaherty, the offensive line coach. This group got challenged. I mean, they got challenged all week long, going back to what happened in January, the hits Eli Manning took, 6 sacks, couldn't run the ball against this defense. And they're running it here. Things are opening up in the fourth quarter, but did not give up a sack in this game.
Hynoski limped off after that last play, and here's a big run by the rookie. Wrestled down inside the 25. Terrell Brown brings down David Wilson after a carry of 20 yards.
Just thoroughly impressed with the job that these guys have done up front. There's a good look at them, and anytime you're putting up a picture like this, it's usually either really bad or it's really good. And right now, it's really good. And to not give up a sack and then to rush for over 140 yards is a good afternoon.
There's Pat Flaherty, one of our favorites to visit with. Travel around weekend to weekend. It's Bradshaw back in there to the 20. They will be playing baseball in just over 1 hour. Game 1 of the National League Championship Series could not be better weather-wise. Posey, Holiday, Lance Lynn, Bumgarner, China Basin, AT&T Park, following football right here on Fox.
I was thinking about hanging around and going to that game. What are you going to do?
Thinking about it.
No one's happier right now that they're running the football than Joe Buck.
I thought you were going to say McCarthy. Here's down to the 15 is Bradshaw. Going to be a one-man act for a while. Justin Smith on the stop.
Stop checking that wristwatch, Tim.
Well, I mean, where is he? What are we going to do?
What a great weekend and a great day to be a San Francisco sports fan.
And they will go from cursing the Giants in this area to saying, let's go Giants, in about an hour.
Yeah, if you're a 49ers fan, you're not real excited about what's happening here. But obviously a big game here at Candlestick Park, and then a bigger one this evening.
3rd down and 2. And the play clock now functioning. Manning calls the timeout with 1 second remaining. 1 left for the Giants, up 20. It's one thing for Ahmad Bradshaw to get 200 yards on the ground last week against Cleveland. But Bradshaw 116 rush yards today. A lot of them weren't easy. Some were as the game wore on. Most of the 49ers have allowed since Ryan Grant in 09. Here's Bradshaw left side. He won't get it. Back to the line of scrimmage. Ricky Jean-Francois there to make the stop, and the clock will continue to wind down. The field goal unit will come on for the Giants. Tynes 3 for 4 on the day.
It was a great drive right there by New York, just taking the time off the clock. And you know, so much attention paid to what Ahmad Bradshaw on the offensive line and the things that they did there. You know, give this defense some credit too in the turnovers, given this offense the short field that they did to operate and come away with some points of their own.
33-yard try. Weatherford takes it. They're letting the play continue. Weatherford gave up. I think they were going to let Weatherford try and pick it up as San Francisco came across early. Either way, it's going to be enough for a first down.
I think Steve Weatherford's glad they whistled that one because he was getting ready to get blown out.
I think you're right. He thought, you know what, I take back what I said. He thought better of this.
Yeah.
Terrell Brown already has one. He tried to get another, and Weatherford looked at Brown
Offside.
and Goldson and
Defense,
said, forget it.
number 25, 5-yard penalty. Result, first down.
That's Brown, who got one earlier, and Jim Harbaugh still screaming over on the sideline.
Well, now, you know, we talk about them running the clock down. I mean, they're going to get to run it down. They'll run it down more now because they pick up the first down with that offsides call against Terrell Brown.
David Wilson is back in at tailback. Andre Brown is out today with a concussion, so he's missed his last couple of games. 2.5 to go, 1st and goal, and even though the 49ers have 3 timeouts, Giants don't have to do much. They are cruising to a 4-2 start and about to send the 49ers to a 4-2 start. And now with Goldson getting off the sideline late.
This is the first. Charge timeout, San Francisco.
San Francisco has to take a timeout. Let's go for game break. Patrick.
Hey, Joe, we saw the Heisman winner, Robert Griffin III, do this type of stuff at Baylor, but this is the National Football League. A 76-yard run, RG3, 139 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, also has one through the air, and the Skins up on Minnesota, 38-26. What a performance late in the 4th. Back to you guys.
Coming off the concussion last week, so I guess he's all right. Well, the Giants get to see him, and you do next week with Tom Brenneman and Pam.
I'm looking forward to it. I have not had a chance to even meet the young man, and I was surprised he played today, Joe. I mean, from what I had heard, he wasn't sure where he was, didn't know who he was playing, didn't know the score of the game last week, and yet it was called a mild concussion. But he did play, and he played awfully well, and he's
it's the Vikings that are seeing just how good he is as Wilson loses 3. And by the way, in these days in the NFL, you have to pass an independent test to get back on the field, so it's not just the Redskins call.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, there's a lot of tests he has to go through, and he got through them, you know. And so, but man, what an exciting player for this league. And hey, Joe, looking at this game right here, I mean, this is a significant loss for the 49ers. I mean, so much was made of playing against the Giants at home, you know, losing in the championship game and having to live with that throughout the offseason, and then playing it and then coming off 2 huge wins, you know, against the Jets and then against Buffalo, and playing at home once again, and then getting beat the way they've gotten beat here this afternoon. There's going to be some questioning of themselves, you know, after this game. I still think they're a great football team and are going to be just fine. But, man, this is a tough one here.
And a statement by the Giants. Giants have lost 2 in their division. Week 1 to Dallas, and then 2 weeks ago to Philadelphia. But they will be sitting on top in the NFC East at the end of the day. Here's Wilson running left. I'd say if he can hang on to the football with his speed and his burst, you see why the Giants ended up taking him at the end of the first round in April.
Well, we were talking about you're pulling double duties, and this is your ride. I mean, is this the best you could come up with?
I haven't come up with anything.
The Foxtoberfest Express. I mean, that's a cable car for crying out loud. But I thought you'd be going 007 with me and taking a helicopter or
We've
something.
talked cigarette boat. We've talked helicopter.
It's not good for your image right there, taking a cable car. I mean, come on. I mean, we're in San Francisco and all that's good. But I thought a speedboat or a helicopter or
I know.
a sports car, I don't know.
Somehow, if it was you doing the double duty, I feel like it would have been a little more exciting and enticing. But as it is, well, we're gonna get there, and somehow, some way, by hook or by crook, I'm gonna find my way into NLCS game.
However you get there, you've got a beautiful day to travel.
Wow, it is gorgeous, and a good series to cover. Both teams, in essence, coming back. Here's Wilson on 3rd down. The Giants coming back down 0-2, losing their first 2 games at home and winning 3 in a row on the road in Cincinnati. And the Cardinals coming back down 6-0 in Game 5, a 4-run night. That's the matchup. 2 minutes left here at Candlestick. It is America's Game of the Week. A field goal try upcoming from Lawrence Tynes, looking for his 4th of the day. It's a 20-point game, 2 minutes left. And now it's a 23-point game. Another game break. Keep you updated what's going on around the NFL. Here's Patrick.
All right, well, what a comeback for the Seahawks. I mean, they were down 23-10 in the 4th quarter, but the rookie quarterback Russell Wilson leads them back. Sidney Rice, 46-yard touchdown. Brady had a little bit of time, over a minute, but the Seahawks defense stepped up. Seattle shocking the Patriots. A final 24-23. Joe and Troy, back to you.
Wow, so how about the NFC West? For years, it's been the doormat in the NFC, and now you've got Arizona, San Francisco starting the day at 4-1. You've got Seattle going to 4-2. Even the Rams, they had a loss today in Miami in a tight ball game. They made it tight at the end. And that division has taken one gigantic leap forward. Still the class of it, in my opinion, is the team in red here this afternoon.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think they'll respond very favorably to what happened, here in this game. But yeah, that division, nobody could have anticipated that. Nobody saw that happening with a rookie quarterback in Seattle, and then in Arizona as well. So, this is it's hard to lose in this league, but there's a lot of things going on within this division, and you just can't assume that the 49ers are going to run away with it.
These two teams will finish the day 4-2. And this last gasp for the 49ers will start at the 20. The producer of today's game, Richie Zients, the director, Rich Russo, the associate directors, Jake Jolivet, Rich Gross, broadcast associates, Bentley Elliott, Alex Olson, technical producer, Dave Hill, technical director is Colby Bourgeois, audio mixer, Fred Aldis. Studio show produced by Bill Richards, directed by Bob Levy, and Ed Sweet is our stat man in the booth. Dave Schwalbe, our spotter. Steve Horn will help editorially get me from football to baseball here in a minute. Kaepernick back in at quarterback. He's been pretty busy today with one big completion to Manningham before the half. That package hasn't done much. Some divisional games coming up, and all of a sudden, Troy, their Thursday game here at home against Seattle, which is right around the corner 4 days from now, looks a lot bigger after Seattle beat the Patriots.
Yeah, it does. At least they get to play that game at home. You look at
Here's Vernon Davis with his biggest of the day.
You look at these Thursday night games, and it's a huge disadvantage to these teams, even though they're coming from Seattle. I mean, they're not coming from that far away, but it still affects, you know, their preparations. I think the teams that play at home have a nice advantage, and I'm not so sure the players and coaches are big fans of those Thursday night games.
This is the first year where those games have hit from the beginning of the season on. Kaepernick fires a fastball at Kyle Williams. Kaepernick showing off his arm, and now it's tucked down, injured in the area where Kaepernick let that ball go. You can see why they like Kaepernick, a guy who is the only quarterback in NCAA history to have 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons, also threw for about 10,000 yards, so he can do a lot of things.
Oh, he's a talented guy, you know. I mean, he's not just a runner. We saw it in this game. We see it here. We saw it earlier when he threw that ball before the half. He's very gifted. Hey, we got some time here, Joe. I had the pleasure. I got to spend some time with a good friend and someone that all football fans certainly know. That's the great John Madden on Friday night in San Francisco. And I speak for a lot of football fans out there that say we sure miss hearing you break it down each and every week. And it's good to spend a little time with you, pal.
On first down, Kaepernick scrambles and heads out of bounds. Forced out by Keith Rivers, playing in his 3rd game of the season. 1:14 left. There's the Giants' upcoming schedule, and there really aren't any easy ones for the most part the rest of the way. But that's the next chunk. Starting next Sunday at home against the Redskins, and they'll come rolling in with RG3 red hot after his effort today against the Vikings.
Yeah, you know, the Giants will be confident coming off this road win, and the Redskins, their win, and divisional game. It's going to be a lot of fun there in the Meadowlands.
Kaepernick escapes pressure and gets almost picked by Amukamara. Trying to get it to Manningham. And by the way, just to echo what you said, John Madden, as you look at the replay, one of the first guys he got to work with on television was my dad. And I can tell you, respect my father had for the great John Madden, and you're right. I still miss him, and we're the ones calling the game.
I know.
I miss Summerall and Madden. How many fans are going, yeah, me too. Shut up. 3rd down and 3. A blitz. Kaepernick trying to force it in there. Why not? Manningham the intended target. Amukamara was out there defending. Coming up next, the OT presented by Lowe's, and then right after that, NLCS Game 1, Lance Lynn, Madison Bumgarner, who, despite his age, has lots of playoff experience. Actually started the clincher in the World Series 2 years ago in Arlington, Texas.
Hey, kill 2J, kill 2J. Burn. Hey, woo.
Extra men on the rush. Kaepernick won't convert on 4th down. And the Giants will take over. And now just a formality as Adrian Tracy is in there for the Giants. And we talked about the Giants sacks and the lack thereof. That is 6 on the day for the New York Giants.
Well, that'll help the old statistics when they go back and add them all up. And you just can't say enough for the job that Tom Coughlin did. You know, we said it coming into the game, Joe, that Tom was saying nobody gives us a chance to win, and I don't think that was true at all. That's right, but that was the message that he sold to his team throughout the week, and I think that most people did think the 49ers would probably be victorious, but he and his staff did an excellent job of getting his team prepared to play, and really to a man. I mean, you can point at a lot of individual efforts, but every unit really showed up and played well, and sometimes we forget about the special teams. They were outstanding as well.
Rarely do we get the chance, and we're about to take you to bonus coverage of the Vikings and Redskins in a moment. Rarely do we get the chance to look back at what we saw here today. The Giants come in, get a road win by 23 points. They protected Manning, didn't give up a sack. They ran the ball, which no teams do against San Francisco, and defensively 6 sacks, had 8 in 5 games coming in. And they picked off Alex Smith 3 times, and he doesn't throw interceptions. This was an all-around win, even good return game by Wilson, all-around win for the Giants today. All right, Aikman, I leave you in the capable hands of Tom Brenneman going forward. Off to baseball I go right now. Minnesota at Washington.